mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, you love me and I love you. Putting on for my people, the love for heroes, building community. Can you hear me now? Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh, can you hear me now? 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 Hear me now.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode, Can You Hear Me Now? I'm Lady Madeline Patterson, and my beautiful co-host, Miss Vicky Merriweather, is here with us. How you doing, girl?
Oh, well.
It's a good day, and we have a special guest.
Hello, everyone.
Now, I'm going to say it wrong, because I've been saying Shakitha, but it's Shaleka. Shaleka Boone.
Yes, that's
I like that Shaleka. Well, that's all. Yeah. That's Shaleka Boone with Dreams Reclaimed. How you doing, young lady?
I'm good. I'm wonderful.
It's so good to have you with us today.
It's good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about who Shaleka Boone is.
Yeah, so Shaleka Boone, it's funny you said it had a nice little beat. My friend always goes, Shaleka Boone, boom, boom, boom. Shaleka Boone, boom, boom.
I like that.
Yeah. But I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. I've been here about 10 years. I came here, unique story. I was supposed to start occupational therapy school. They were like, get some education hours. I knew I wanted to get out of Shreveport for a while. Went to school at ULM in Monroe, so not too far. And I started applying places, and then Austin ended up being the place where I landed. I taught in Killeen ISD, in a charter in Austin. I've taught in Manor ISD. And now I do a lot of like instructional coaching with like instructional leadership, consulting, different things like that. And I'm in school, which led me to where we are today with talking about the moms are leaving and dreams reclaimed.
Oh, the moms leaving and dreams reclaimed. Girl, you've done quite a bit. Yes, in the last few years.
Yes.
Well, we're glad to have you in Austin, Texas. Tell me something now. Leaving Shreveport, Louisiana, to come to this beautiful ATX. How was that for you?
Loved it, but also once or people say the honeymoon stage.
Yeah.
Once that kind of rubbed off, I started like noticing things more, and I was like, wait a minute. And I was in Round Rock when I first moved here.
Okay.
At Round Rock 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. No, it's not.
Yes. So
you're like, where y'all at? Where y'all
at? I was literally walking around like, oh, you don't just bump into black people nowhere. Like, go to the grocery store and you ain't just, like, you actually have to be super intentional about finding black people. Thankfully, when I was moving here, I also was working part-time at Turner Roberts Recreation Center. So that was making it better of a transition because that felt like home. That definitely.
Turner Roberts.
Yeah.
My son-in-law was the manager out there.
Who's your son-in-law?
Mr. Patterson.
Shansay?
Yes.
Yes.
Small. Wow.
Very small.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Good people.
Yes, for sure.
Let's get back on topic. Go down that road. So talk about your two programs that you're doing right now.
Okay, yeah. So the Moms Are Leaving is the brand, is the organization. Dreams Reclaimed is one of our special programmed events. And so the Moms Are Leaving, the way I fell upon that is I was in school the first time around. I'm back in school working on my doctorate. But the first time I was working on my doctorate, I was pregnant. I didn't want to stop. So even after I had my son in December, didn't take a semester off. I know. I'm looking at myself the same way now. Didn't take a semester off. Went right back into school. And I was commuting to school. I was trying to figure out, feeding schedule, all that type of stuff. And I was like, how does this work? And I was still working. Yes, working from home. He was born in 2021, so yeah, I was working from home at the time. But even that, it was just a lot. The daycares at that time, the wait lists were like a year long. I remember probably like when he was 2 years old, one of the daycares that I had got on the waiting list for 2.5 years ago while I was still pregnant called me. And I'm like,
Wait, what?
what?
Oh, yeah, the toddler opening. That's what it is. Not an infant. 2.5 years later.
Yeah. So when I was in my doctorate program, I started to shift my research topic because I was really intrigued about the fact that I was having conversations with colleagues and being in education, having conversation with my educator friends. And it's like, they felt like teaching used to be this avenue that a lot of moms wanted to take because it aligned to your kids' school schedule, but it was becoming less sustainable for them. And so it wasn't the ideal occupation anymore. And so I wanted to research into that. And then also talking to my friends who were students like I was at the time, we're talking about how they were having to take a bunch of breaks or they just stopped and they haven't finished yet. They never went back. Like having those conversations made me realize that spaces weren't set up for us in a lot of ways. And so that's where the Moms Are Leaving came from, because it was started as my research topic about like, why are moms leaving all of these spaces? And so from there, I started working on how do we make spaces more accessible for us? The importance of community, having conversation with people, having a tribe and a village to be like, hey, can you watch my son for a little while so I can study? So, or can we all get together? The kids can play together and we can work on the things that we need to work on. And just realizing that so blessed to be a mother, but that's one part of our layer, is not our sole being. And God has ordained us to do so many great things.
You're so right.
So many great things. So I was just like, hey, how do I make space for the women who are doing it so that they can hear the wisdom of others so that they can continue to grow and not give up on their dreams.
You know, as you were talking, it reminded me of Ruth and Naomi. I just saw how the younger women were just sitting around the older women and listening and talking, and even the older women cleaning stuff from the end. So that just community was created in that environment.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep. Yeah. So we had our first Dreams Reclaim in September. I was a little nervous.
Okay.
But it ended up settling out, going well. Exactly what you spoke to. We had moms of all ages, right? People who had just had their first baby versus, kids who were people who were grandmothers and great grandmothers in the room, and having those authentic conversations about, hey, whether it was like someone who was like, hey, I wanted to do this and I never did. Let me tell you some of the things that I wish I would have done differently. Or these are some things that I did. This is how I got there. Let me tell you. Or this is what I'm experiencing in the moment. Somebody help me through it. I need the community to talk to me right now. Or I just needed a break and be around some sisters today. And we made space for that as well.
Yes. Oh, that is beautiful. And so I believe that the not just the turnout, but the response. What were some of the responses that you got from the women?
That they loved it, that they wanted us to bring it back, which is why we are. So tomorrow we'll be doing another Dreams Reclaimed. It's going to be focused on wellness. The first one I don't want to say heavy, but we went a little bit deep, Tomorrow is going to just be overall wellness. Like we have childcare, which that was in response to feedback from the first time. We were in a smaller space, so we couldn't have childcare. But now we're in a bigger space, we can have childcare. So we'll be having childcare. We'll have some different fitness and dance classes. We're going to have a conversation about the importance of motherhood, which Vicky will be speaking on. We're going to have some counselors and therapists there doing pop-ups that people can talk to, massage therapists, manicurists. It's really just like, Mom, this space is made for you to relax and find community.
Yeah.
first session was kind of heavy, and what I find in talking to young women that I do talk to, my daughter being included, it's almost like a pull to get them to understand you can't lose yourself in this. Mm-hmm. They do, and then you have some depression that sits in, and some anxiety. And I've got a young mom right now, and she's in school and she's working. She's a teacher, and one is an occupational therapist, I think a respiratory therapist, and she's a mom, and they're both of them married, and they're doing all this stuff. They're trying to do everything, but I know with my own daughter, and she's open to me telling the stories. Like, come on, I know what this feels like, and if you lose yourself to this, you'll lose yourself in your own dreams, and that can make you become. It makes you feel like you don't have any hope about my own self until later. And trying to encourage them, you can keep going. Because when I first started school, my kids were like, my grad school program they were 3 and 4, 3 and 5. Tony was older, and I had to quit because there was a lot going on. I was taking care of my mom and then taking care of them, and it was just overwhelming. I was like, this is what I have to give up right now. But recognizing too that at that point, you just have to understand how to maneuver your time. And it's because it can be done. But you're right, listening and having support and encouragement that these things can be done, and you don't have to be running around but in an 8-hour day, having 14-hour days, 24 hours does not have to be all on go. Mm-hmm. That you can take some rest and you can relax in that and just
breathe.
Yeah, because if you don't, you're going to burn out on the whole nine. And I laughed when you said it is a blessing to be a mom, and nobody talks about the but because they don't want to get real about the but. It's like there are things that come with that, and sacrifices that come with that can be tiring and overwhelming. And you're right, if you don't have a community that works with you, it can be just flat out. This is not what I thought it was going to be.
Right, and even when they talk about the Proverbs woman in the Bible, she made clothes, she did all of those things. I'm thinking, well, how did she do all of those things? There's a community around her. It wasn't just like she did this by herself,
And unfortunately, in our society too, a lot of us, because I was a single mother, so a lot of us, I know you were too. A lot of us ended up in spaces doing things alone, and all my kids were busy in various activities. And most times I was in the car asleep. I mean, seriously. And I think, while they're asleep, you need to be walking. While they're in class, you need to be walking. While they're in class, you can be reading. While they're in class, you can be doing all the things. Some other things, you just have to know how to navigate that time. But a lot of times, I just want to go to sleep. Like, I'm tired. And so when they're in class, I'm in the car, knocked out. And sometimes I would read, but you have to learn how to use the time that you have productively and not forget to put you in there as part of that.
The equation, many times we're the silent part of that equation. Yeah. So what made, when you were saying about dreams were clear and the moms were leaving, what did you notice that sparked you to say, I need to do something about this?
Yeah, I mean, one, I noticed myself, losing myself. That was the first noticing, just in me. Like, I started having conversations with myself of like, do you even want this doctorate? What you going to school for? Like, you need to be letting that guilt sit in. Like, you got a baby now. You need to focus on your son. You need to focus on your husband. You don't need a doctorate. Like, why do you need this? It's not even, sometimes it's not even a need. It's a want. But why is it now that, having conversations back and forth with myself, why is it now that it's like, I only get to do things that are necessity, and I don't get to do anything that I want to do. But I'm making sure that everyone else gets all of their needs met and most of their wants met. Yeah. And that made me realize, like, no. Because I don't want to get to the place where I'm resenting my son and my husband.
Yep.
Because I didn't do my thing because I was so busy focused on theirs.
Yes.
So that's what really caused the shift. And having conversations with my friends of like, I'm noticing with my male colleagues though, they not second guessing their self about school. They're not taking all of these breaks. They're not doing all, because most times they got a woman at home making sure that they're able to focus on school while someone else is taking care of everything else. And so just realizing that even if that seasons change, and sometimes there are seasons like where this isn't my top priority.
Right.
And that's okay. But I can't say that like, now all of a sudden my dreams only have to be wrapped around my husband and my son's needs. So that's what really took me there, because it's just like it felt like I'm a mom now, which I absolutely love, but was the big thing, instead of it being I'm a mom and I'm a mom and a student. I'm a mom and a business owner. I'm a mom and I like to go to ballet classes. Like, and why can I prioritize all of those things while still being a mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because what ends up happening is, because you said I'm a mom and you're saying that right, I'm a mom, but I'm a mom and. How about I'm a Vicky first? Let me be who I am first. And it's crazy when you try and tell people I'm me first. Let me be who I am.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not fully who I am, then I can't do the others. And a lot of times, even when I'm talking to older women,
right,
and women, I say like the women that I know of in the church, well, that's kind of selfish. And I'm thinking, what's selfish is when you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want to do, and you're trying to tell your children how to be what you want them to be, and not recognize. And I don't think that's a good thing either. But you don't recognize. You're trying to teach your children how to live, and you're not living yourself. Mm-hmm. So, what example are you setting?
Well, we're coming from the school of do as I say, not as I do. And some of that is, I would believe there's a little bit of fear. And I'm going to live vicariously through you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to do all this stuff because I'm too afraid, or I may even think it's too late for me, or whatever that might be. So I try to push my kids into that when it's really a mindset change of I deserve. And it's I think our society has, even in the church sometimes, has created this, you are this box. And that's what you are. And when you do something that doesn't fit in the box, you're looked at like, wait, what are you doing?
And it's a parenting thing. Because I did parenting for a long time. I taught parenting. And for me, one of the biggest lessons that got laid in front of me with my children, especially my oldest one day, it was like, wait, if you're in control, I can't be God talking to me. Because if you're in control of his life, then you're taking him out of my hands. And that's dangerous. And that's why I said what I said about we want them to be what we want them to be, not recognizing that my children weren't, they were birthed through me, but they weren't created. I didn't create them. They're God's creations, and he has purpose for them.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in there saying, I want you to do this, and I want you to be this. No, I manage them, and I teach them, but I cannot dictate who they become, because it's God's job.
When you were talking about dreams reclaimed, when you go through that session, how does that kind of walk me through what that looks like in that session?
Yeah. So in the first one, we really focused on what are those dreams, like picking them back up, literally reclaiming them. So if it was, always had this dream of going to school or writing a book or owning this business, whatever that may be, I made sure to put people in the room who had a story that was connected to that. And we had authentic conversations. We had a panel. And then we literally had, I also try to keep these very intimate. So no more than 50 women. So people feel safe enough to talk. And we just literally had conversations about dreams. There were women in the room who felt like it was too late for them to do anything else because it was like, oh, I was a homemaker or am a homemaker and my kids are grown now. So that realization of my kids are grown, now what? I don't even know what I like. I don't. So having those conversations and having conversations about let's take some time. There were people there who were like, I never just sit in quiet. Like maybe even I have prayer time, but do I actually sit in silence and listen to what my next step should be, you know?
Or do I rush it along?
Yes. And so there were women there, and one of my friends, you know, Jane, she led us through a meditation of just like, take a moment before we do anything else, breathe. How many of us can say that we actually take a moment to breathe throughout the day, especially moms, like we just running around. So it was just also while we were having conversation, giving tools to help you through reclaiming whatever that dream is. So maybe it's just like journaling. Maybe it is talking to God, but also listening. Like what are those baby steps that you can start taking to start reclaiming those dreams?
I like that. You know, it's in the last 2 years, we are really living. I'm going to say I'm living my best life. It took getting cancer, going through this, and with a hole in my neck, and going, why not? But I love that it didn't take a traumatic experience for you to look back and go, let me do something about this. Mm-hmm. And there's life after ... Mm-hmm. Whatever that thing is happened, your kids, divorce, marriage. And I'll bring it to the church. You know, sometimes when we get married, it's like, hey, now you're married. Now there's a new label. Mm-hmm. Here's what you ought to be doing. Well, is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Or maybe it's what me and my husband, have a conversation about. Right now I'm doing a lot of traveling, running around, and my husband's a pastor. My husband is good with me running around and doing what I do as long as I'm doing what I need to be doing at home. I'm not going to go there right now, Dr. Clark.
Yeah. That resonates with me because when I first got married, I felt like there was a label.
Yep.
And I was trying to do all these things that were not Shaleka, but I felt like it was what a wife's supposed to do, especially growing up in the church. It's like, this is what you do now. This is your role now. And then I realized that, again, bringing up the word resentment, I'm side-eyeing my husband. He didn't tell me I need to be the sole one cleaning everything. Right. He didn't tell me I need to, now, granted, I love you, babe. He doesn't cook very often, which I'm fine with. Yeah. But he is the better cleaner. And I was tearing myself down like, I gotta be a better cleaner than him. I gotta be the one that keeps. And I'm like, why? And not until I had a conversation with him, like, does it bother you? No. Because he gonna be coming behind me anyway. Exactly. And now I'm looking at him upside the head. I already cleaned that. And he don't even say nothing, but he just be tightening up. And I'm like, I thought I cleaned that already. And now, who's the head cleaner? Him. And he's fine with that. Yeah. I'm fine with that. A lot of, the mothers turn their heads up at me. They turn their nose up. But it's like, that's what works in her household.
Exactly. It's for y'all's marriage.
She cooks. Kiana's cleans.
Yeah.
And when she wants to go out with her friends, she goes out with her friends. He's good with keeping the kids.
Yeah.
And vice versa. They work together as a team. But that's the thing, especially when you grow up old school, I'm sorry, in the church like I did, you had to, it was a song that used to be, and I don't know if you remember it, you may not, but it was, I can bring home the bacon, fried
I can bring home the bacon, da-na-na-na-na.
Fried up in a pan.
Da-na-na-na-na.
And never ever let you forget
Da-na-na-na-na.
that you a man.
Because I'm a woman.
All right, you know what? This is a little bit too much.
See, that was my theme song.
You understand those?
I wanted that big S. I wanted to do everything. And I was not good at that.
Oh, yeah, because you do get good at it. But then I got so good at it that it was like, this is not what I intended for my life. For the rest of it, no. And so, I decided to take that big S.
Yeah, can't remember what she said. I'm not your superwoman.
Yes.
I took that bad boy off. I was like, this is not working for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the end of my marriage. It was some other things. But at that point, it was like, you need to know who you are.
Yes.
And stop living in what has been placed upon you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that's what ends up happening. And there's two things. Don't put me in a box and don't label me. Because the same thing is in school, a young lady, she was in the audience, and they were asking, well, what do you do when you get older? And she was like, well, when I get older, I don't know. I don't know what my life is going to be. I guess I'm going to be, she felt like she would be useless. And I started rocking. I was like, first of all.
When Mickey starts rocking, something going on.
Put me in a rocking chair on the front porch unless I choose to be there at the moment because I'm sitting there taking it all in, but I'm not going to stay there.
Yeah.
You don't just stop living, those kinds of things. But when you become a label, like I am a wife or I am a mother, I'm a pastor's wife, pastor's daughter, you this, that, and the other, then guess what happens?
Yeah.
These labels begin to define you, and you let them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, no, we're not going to. No, that's hard to do because then you don't get to become who you are.
It's true. Yep.
That's why I really like the dreams were claimed. And for some women, they never got a chance to dream.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because for whatever reason, this is what you do.
Yep.
This is who you are. So I bet it was kind of like a dream. Wait, what do I like?
Right.
Who am I? Yeah. Like it is really cathartic to go through that process of discovering yourself.
Yeah, the self-discovery.
Yeah, and I would pray that we turn off all the noise. Because even for me, I went back to get my bachelor's in my 50s. And then I decided to go into a sorority collegiate with some young undergrad. Yeah, and I said, why not go all the way and live and do? And then now we're traveling and making movies only because God said, whatever I birthed inside of you, I'm going to bring that to fruition. I know I hear his voice. And there's dreams for these women out there. We want to tell you, even if you may think it's too late, as long as there is breath in your body, God put something inside of you.
One of the things I often tell myself, and it's like, and I had to repeat it several times, I know the plans I have for you. And I had to keep saying that. I know, God, I know the plans I have for you. Because everybody else has plans for me. They want to tell me what I need to be doing, what I should be doing, the expectations. And we talk about the fears, but I know the plans I have for you. Because even now, some days I'm looking at, for real, God, are you serious at this time? At this stage? Are you really thinking this?
You'll say, yes, Sarah. Yes, Sarah.
Burst something else. Ain't nothing else. My daughter said, Mommy, I'm having that type of baby, but I will birth whatever God says He wants me to birth. Y'all can have these babies now. And so it's girl, y'all have to get me. Seriously, I'd be like, Lord, no. But and He's saying yes, and to encourage us and to say, yeah, you can do it. Or somebody like this one on this side of me, what she'll do is, are we getting ready to do that right now? Yeah, why not? I'm like, okay. But it's helpful. And so you begin to see things that can be done. And yeah, God will be like, yeah, Vicky man, I said this. And yeah, at this stage and age, yes, you can, because you're not dead.
Yep. You're not dead. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we'll come back and finish up with our dreams reclaimed.
Hi, good day, good people. What's up? Hope you're living your best life, living a blessed life, being the best you can be, and doing the best you can do, and not selling yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. You can do so much more than you realize, and push past so much more than you realize you can. So, don't sell yourself short. Alright? We're out here. It's raining. Well, it's not raining right now, but it was raining. It's about to rain some more. But nonetheless, still getting it in. So get out there, be active. Let me tell you. So, all weekend, I was out in the streets. I was out in the streets all weekend. Not doing what I needed to do at all. But that's alright. But I did do what I needed to do. It's about how you bounce back, okay? It's about how you bounce back. I was living my life, having fun, eating out. I didn't eat that many sweets though. Double check to make sure I ain't get hit by a car on my walk. Cause we don't need that. No. So, just because you might have had a rough weekend or whatever, don't stop yourself, okay? Keep it up. So this is my Tuesday motivation, because I was still having fun on a Monday. But y'all, really back in this morning, because of my decisions over the weekend, I was struggling to make certain decisions. And thus far, I am proud to say that I have persevered through that. And I am no longer, at this moment in time, struggling with a decision, okay? So, right now is a good time for me to wean off the caffeine again, because I had a dental procedure, and so I'm on pain meds. So therefore, I won't feel the caffeine withdrawal headache and everything that comes along with it, other than being a little drowsy. But I'm feeling pretty good because I'm rested. That's really what the most important thing is. Make sure you're getting your rest too, because when you get your rest, it sets you up to be able to do the other things that need to be done. So, yeah. So, I did post a meal plan of what I'm eating this week. Today for lunch, we kind of switched up a little things because I did not cook yesterday. Did not suggest to cook. But we had some salmon, greens, sweet potatoes, So we had, this morning I started it off with some yogurts with strawberries and granola in it. I can rock with that. Can rock with it. Alright, so that's where we are at today, right now, on this fine Tuesday. But y'all push through this week. Stick with it this week. Even though it's cold this week, get out there. Still move. Still walk. Still pay attention to what you put in. Because that's the most important. Is to really make sure you're feeding in food. And that food being the word and the edible food. Alright? Gotta feed it in. So your mind, your heart, your body, everything is in line. What they call it in yoga, your chakras. Get your chakras aligned. And the way to do that is focusing on gratitude. Focusing on that God is the lifter of our heads. Focusing on those things. Pushing on those things. Trusting in His word. And that His word is true. And standing on the promises of God, which are yes and amen. So, yeah, get you some word in, get you some food in, get you some gratitude in your life. Breathe. And we got this for this week. All right. Peace out. One love. Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, we're here with whatever I'm talking about. It's either going to be choices, DEXA scan. I still got to post that for y'all. I'm going to tell y'all. DEXA is coming, though. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it this week. I am going to post it this week. Later this week, it will be up. I'm also getting my garden ready for the spring. Okay, even though fake spring was last week, let's see when the real spring comes. But nonetheless, I'm gonna try starting stuff off from seed more this time, and hopefully I can get it to come from seed this time. So all of that garden updates, life updates, that's what we got coming on the channel thus far. Okay, so get out, grow something. All right, be the best you can be, do the best you can do, and don't sell yourself short. All right, peace out. One love. Jesus Christ. We out. Okay.
Love that, Miss Jovette moment. Thank you, Jovette, as always. Keeping God first. So, we're back with Dreams Reclaimed. We're talking about being in the box. And basically, don't put a box around us. Because we're all unique. And God created us individually for a reason. So, what's next for you?
More programming. I'm just trying to make more space for women here. There are so many great resources for moms here that I feel like people don't even know about. So connecting them to resources. Also making more space and events where they can come and have a safe space. So we have our one that's tomorrow. We'll have another that's in March. And then collaborating with other moms in the area to bring whatever their dreams are for. Like some of the women that I've met, they had dreams of doing an event or something like that. But the fear of like, can I do this thing? So connecting with them and collaborating like, hey, I mean, how can I support you into doing this thing? And so the moms are leaving is here for that. And then partnering with businesses like consulting. How do you make your space more accessible to moms? I also teach at a university, well, 2 universities that are close. One of them, I had a student come up to me and was like, I'm going to have to go pump. And this is a 3-hour class. And I got to go to my car. And, like, super concerned. But she didn't know there was a mother's room that was nearby. Now, granted, it was just for legal states. Like, it wasn't set up to be a mother's room. There was a closet that she had access to. But partnering with different businesses to make sure that they have spaces, if they have students that need to step away and do things like that, or if it's a space where you're saying you're family friendly, but then you go in the bathroom, it's this big, there's no changing table, like all of those type of things. So we do consulting with businesses to help support making spaces more accessible for moms so that they can actually not be in a box. Because sometimes, especially there was a season in motherhood where I also felt isolated. Like I didn't want to leave the house or do anything, even if I had my son with me, because it's like, well, what if I get there and they don't have this? Or if I get there and he starts crying, everybody gonna be looking at me. Like just making it like, hey, kids are a part of society. Like you gonna see this kid with me, and people who know my husband and I know, baby, we be taking our son with us because I'm not about to be locked up in this house for how long? Be locked up in the house for the next 18 years? I can't do nothing.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
That was it. I didn't know.
Tell them the devil is a lie.
Exactly.
I can't go out to eat no more for the next 18 years.
Go to the movie. And, you know, it is crazy because growing up, we had this thing where you would be seen and not heard.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say, well, tell Kelly she can't be heard or seen. Because she going to lay, yes, y'all know where we were. And she just laid out on the floor.
Okay. That Kelly.
That's my granddaughter.
She been there before.
Out flat on the floor. Like, and I looked to see it. I said, oh, yeah, I had those days with you. And I'd lay on the floor with you. And so, and we look at you like, what's wrong with you? Just do what you did. I mean, because, you know, as a parent, you're right. As a mom, you have to think outside the box.
Yes.
If you don't, you put restrictions on yourself and your child. And so, yeah, she'll throw a tantrum. That was crazy because my oldest would throw a tantrum. And I'd walk away. I just walk away. And he'd look up, my mama's gone. So let me get up and follow her. And stop.
Yep.
That youngest would get up.
I was going to say what about Cindy?
And she'd say, all right, I got you. She'd follow me to the next aisle and lay down on the floor. I said, oh, this ain't going to work right here. You know, so, you know, I mean, you get creative. But, you know, you can't think because you have all the things going through your head about these are the things I should be doing. These are the things I need to be doing. And so you can't think outside of the box because you're thinking with the expectations and the voices and you're hearing all the stuff. If you don't stop and just let that be what it is, okay, you're going to throw a tantrum? Let you throw a tantrum. Because I can't engage that right now. I got to get the stuff off the, you know, I got shot.
Right.
And great, people are looking at you like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm a parent. That's a child. What you want me to do?
That part.
Yeah.
They're not to be controlled. And neither am I.
Yeah.
And the other part of your business, the moms have left the building. That's
Yeah, I like that.
The dreams reclaimed, yeah. But the moms have left the building. I had a lot of thoughts about that. How did you come up with that one?
So the Moms Are Leaving started with, like I said at the beginning, with my dissertation topic. But also, at the first Dreams Reclaimed, we were having conversation. We ended each one of our conversations with, what are you leaving behind? And so for some moms, it was leaving behind the mindset that, you know, I'm mom and that's it. For some women, it was, I'm leaving behind the guilt. I'm leaving behind. So we just had societal norms of what I'm supposed to be. I'm leaving the box behind. So we just had conversations about, hey, in order for me to be me, for me to be Shaleka, what layers do I need to leave behind? What ideas or mindsets do I even need to leave behind? So that's where that came from. Yep.
You know, it's crazy because what I'm beginning to understand and what I'm finding when I talk to young women a lot of times is not sometimes when you're in that mode and you get to that but, I'm a mom, but it's what's being taught for women or young girls from day one.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things you need to be doing. And again, we get to this point where you're being selfish, because I'm not learning to prioritize me. And so you don't, because you have to take care of everybody else and forget you got to take care of yourself. Or it's not even forget. If you take care of yourself or you prioritize that, then you're being selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true.
Yeah.
It's not. But it's going to take conversations like you're having, like we're having, and also giving people permission that, although the permission's innate, but sometimes you got to create the space to give them the permission. When you fly, they tell you, put your mask on first before you help somebody else. So outside the plane, I can't help you. I can't be 100 for you if I'm not being 100 for me. And I was talking with another member earlier because we were dealing with, we're tired and giving away all this stuff. And it reminded me of something that someone had said to me, stop pouring out of your cup. What's in the cup is for you. The overflow is what you give. So when we look at that, Psalms 23, and my cup runneth over, the over is what I give to everybody else. Because what's in my cup, he gave that to me. And we've created this narrative that's selfish. No, he loved me so much that he died for me and gave me a full cup. He gave you a full cup too. And you a full cup. And you a full cup. And it's up to you to continue to be in communion with him. So when it overflows, you can help somebody else when their cup starts to go down. That's what I love about that title. Got me. The moms are leaving. Like, wait, where'd they go? But that standard, that norm, that what is a mom box is what is being broken.
Yep.
And me, the individual who happens to be a mom and a wife and a college graduate and whatever, all those things, that's who I am. And why we just reduce this down to one or two things.
That's what it looked like we wanted to look like. And some of it is fear.
Yeah.
Because once you start doing all the things that God has enabled you, created you to do, somebody else is looking at it like, I don't think I can do that. How do you know?
And maybe he didn't call you to do that.
Exactly, those comparisons.
There's that comparison. See, we're in this whole comparison thing. And, well, how come you... Well, if you sat still, if you just sit still, and that's funny. When I talk to people, quite often, I don't want to sit still. It's uncomfortable. You have to ask yourself, well, why is it uncomfortable to sit still? Because then you're alone with your thoughts.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you're alone with what God is telling you to do. He does say it.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to sit there for just... Even if you, it's funny when that commercial comes on, the Calm commercial. I think it's only 10 seconds, but I find myself going, reminder, breathe, take a minute, until I get a text from either Vicky or Javette.
Did you breathe today?
You drinking your water? Javette's good about
water.
Drink your water, but it's good to have that community. To remind us that maybe it's okay. Listen, sit down. Yeah. Do you need me to come up? What? How can I help you? Yeah. So I like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so much. There's so much more that we're going to get from ourselves when we're in community.
As we strive to stay healthy or get healthy. Because it does take someone who's aimed at that. I want to be healthy. I want to live well. Not wealthy as in financial, but I want to live whole and well. Then, recognizing that's an ongoing journey and it's something that we continue to grow in.
Yeah.
We need those type communities.
Yeah.
And communities that are honest and authentic, that will say, but this is not what I thought this was going to look like.
Right.
Yes.
And
yes.
I want to piggyback. I want to say this because there are some people, there are some women that their dreams growing up. I want to be the mom, the whole
Yes,
mom. I want to be the
absolutely.
mom that's cooking and cleaning and doing homeschooling, which I could never do. And I have friends or people that I know that do. They do a wonderful job. I think I lose my mind, but those type things. They want to be that, and that's okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's
Nothing
very
wrong.
much okay. But then there's, and I think that's the thing is, be you.
Yeah.
Just be who you are being called to be, and recognize that piece that God is intended for you to have a purpose.
Yeah.
Walk in that. Recognize it. Don't be afraid of the dream, and don't be afraid to say who you are and who you want to be.
Yeah. And no part of that is just.
Right.
Because I feel like sometimes I've had conversations with my friends because they've been called to be the homemaker, to be, to do all of those things, and then they have a conversation with me and they feel like it's coming off as just, and it's like, no, you are graced for something completely different. And I was in the classroom, a teacher in the classroom, and with my own son, somebody else gonna have to do it. So you're graced for something different than I am, and that is perfectly okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And so recognizing that, even because we do get kind of judgmental and critical about the things that people choose to do in their lives. But that's not my job to look at you and say you need to be doing this or you should be doing it like this. My mother taught me to cook well, and I say this all the time. She did. She cooked a certain way, and I learned how to do it differently. Still good. I was a great cook. I don't cook as much anymore, and there's a reason. My daughter took it up a notch, so she cooks. She's an absolutely fantastic cook, and everything's been done differently, and it's okay. We learn to be different. But you said something earlier about permission. It's I want you to do better. I want you to live better. I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you. I want you to be the best you can be, and I'm going to support you in that. I don't want you to be me.
Can't be.
No. Number one, because God birthed me, He birthed you for different purposes. But be you, and I want to support you and you to be whoever that is, whatever that looks like for you.
And while you're doing that, it doesn't take away from me. And I think that's where so many of us are looking over there and thinking, oh, what's wrong with me? And I don't have that much shine or whatever it is. And it's back to the comparison.
Yeah.
We're all uniquely graced for a purpose here.
Exactly.
And too many times we're looking at TV or watching things going, oh, I should be doing that. How is she doing all of that? And I'm just, the word just, no. I would tell my really good friend, she was a homemaker. She had 4 children, taking care of all the kids, get mine too. And I was like, man, I wish I could do that. Just no, I wish I could be working like you. We were doing this comparing, but we got a chance to talk once. And it was like, you had an opportunity to pour into all of your children. You were home in the morning, in the afternoon. There are things I missed because I didn't have that with mine. But because we created a family with each other, you were able to pour into my child. My child now has cousins and siblings because she was there. So we've got to look at it differently and see what are the good fruits of all these pieces and make that fruit salad.
Well, and that's the craziness of it, like you said, and I'm really thankful because I look at all Madeline does. I'm like, and there's no way that I'm going to do all of that, and it's okay. It really is okay. But I'm thankful to be in the space, recognizing that she's gonna do what she's gonna do, and that's a great thing. And we don't take away from each other that way. Whatever she's gifted to do is what she's gonna do. And whatever God's gifted me or purposed me to do, I'm gonna do that. And it's a compliment.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's not what is it, a drain, or it's not, well, because you do this. Because I tell people all the time, the technical stuff y'all do, they hit me in class one time. and I needed to be in there for whatever reason. And when they got past I sat there and said, okay, I'm going to be here. But the rest of this, I'm not going to catch because my mind does not work this way.
But I'm going to say this, though. In that class, there were things that she needed and she grabbed that wasn't for us. But because we're a team, everybody has their piece of it. Like even with the show, nobody really sees Jovette with us here. But she's producing and she's doing the stuff behind the scenes. And yet, although we may be on screen, there's no, there's none of, we couldn't do this if, exactly.
And so there's these pieces, these things that happen. We work in conjunction with each other.
Yep.
And so if we learn to do that as a community, you're right. Because I had friends that would do, my children learn from various people and they learn things that I could not teach them.
Right.
Because I don't go camping. My son had a lady, and her name was Grandma Judy. Grandma Judy taught him how to do all of the stuff out in the woods, the camping, and putting up the tents and all that kind of stuff, and eating on the fires and doing all that stuff. And I'm looking at him like, that ain't my thing. But he would know those things.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we don't know. We just need to be more of a community and learn from each other.
Yes, and not feel threatened by each other's gift or light.
And I think with that, you brought up an important part about modeling. So some of the seeds I was taking from you is you've modeled for your kids. It's okay to expose them to different things. And it's okay to take what you've been given and take it to the next level. Because I was having a conversation with a friend and we were talking about how sometimes it's based on the way that you raised, you don't even know what you enjoy, what your values are, what any of those things are, because it's just been fed to you. This is what we do. And so it's so important for our kids to see, like, and as I think about my son, mommy can do all of these different things. It's important for him to see that so he knows that he can do all of these things, and one day he'll be a husband, and, you know, his wife can do all of the things. And so what we model for our kids, whether we, and you say that, you said, do what I say and not what we do. But the kids watch it, and they gonna do what we do.
Exactly.
And so if we sit on ourselves, that's what they're gonna do.
But see, we may not even realize we're sitting on ourselves, because how we grew up, certain generations, that mindset of I can do all was not there. A lot of the mindset was you get a job, you get married, this is what you do, you have your children, that's what you do.
You get married, you stay married.
You stay married, and regardless. And you stay there. And so these other generations coming out of that, it's hard to have some of these, it's harder for some generation to have the honest conversation, because I'm sure there was something that was a reason opportunities were not available to women at that time.
Yeah.
You know, depending on where you lived as well, things were not available. So I wanted to even give some of those older women some grace.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
So, but I think that's great when we do their dreams reclaimed, how you're bringing all these women together to share their story. And even for those that may not have thought about dreaming, she's at Rehoboth, I forgot, oh my gosh, she's 80, Annie Harden. I graduated 2 years ago after leaving school 30 years, went and got my degree. She's going back to school at 80. She said, because she saw me walk the stage. And at 80. And I thought, praise God.
Yeah.
Like, when you see us doing things, our prayer is that it's an inspiration.
Absolutely.
So in those moments, I'm excited for what you're doing. Because I just think that just breathes life.
Yeah, it does. And you know, it is, you're right, back then, I know we kind of running out of time, but I watched my grandmother. My grandmother kept us, all the grandkids. That's what she did.
Yeah.
She cooked and she kept the grandkids so that her daughters could go to work or do whatever they needed to do. But do you know how much I learned from that? And I learned about who she was and how, and my great-grandmother, you learn from these stories.
Yes.
And they were great women. So we don't, and that's the thing, we don't want to discount anybody. We want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be who they want to be. who they've chosen to be, or whoever God has called them to be in the moment that was needed.
Yeah.
And it takes a village to do that.
It does.
Yeah. And in Austin, when we're in such a transient city, you have people moving here and they ain't got grandma up the street or TT up the street. That's why we need to be intentional about creating these spaces to be like, hey, I know you don't know me, but I got you, sis.
I got you.
I got you.
Yes.
Yes.
That authentic conversation.
That authentic conversation.
Open to being there, being willing.
Yes.
And recognizing that it is a team that we work in.
Yeah.
I love all of that. And on that note, I'm really like taking this in. This is moms are living in dreams reclaimed.
Yeah.
It's not too late. Dreams reclaimed. Yeah. We're gonna make sure we post the information. Is it tickets are sold out?
No, childcare hit capacity right before I walked in here. But if you a mama and let's say your daycare is open tomorrow and you still want to join us, come right ahead. Come right ahead. Childcare, the moms was like, let me get my tickets ahead of time. They was not waiting till the last minute. They was like, oh, you watching kids? Let me get this.
Yeah, that piece. Yeah.
Have a few hours just to myself.
Yes.
I can focus.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes. So we're going to make sure we have Shaleka's information, contact information posted for you guys to watch that out. Thank you so much for being here today. It was a great conversation. Yeah. Girl,
Thank you for having me.
You're doing
Thank you for having me.
And if you don't make this time, then you'll have a couple other times.
Yeah.
Sure that you
oh, yeah.
Yep.
I need to get to one of them sessions.
Yeah.
Dream.
Come on in the room.
She said you can still come tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Okay.
You don't need babysitting, do you? You and Pat.
Oh, my husband's off. Wait, never mind.
She got other priorities.
I got other priorities. Wait. Let me just go. Yeah. We're out of here, y'all.
The moms left the building.
The moms are leaving.
And the wife is about to come home.